Have you ever wondered what Paper Mario would be like without Mario?
Yeah, great freaking game.
Jokes aside, a partner's only challenge brings a lot of trials, tribulations, and complications. Some are more dire than others. But by the end of this video, I hopefully will demonstrate how I'm going to get past all those complications and hopefully teach you, the viewer, something about this game that you never knew. Stick around, get comfy, and enjoy the video. After landing smack dab in a clearing nearby a family of Goombas, our fallen hero realizes he is incapable of fighting ever again. I mean, what do you expect? You fell from the freaking Mesosphere. I'm surprised he was even able to get back up from that fall. But of course, that is not necessarily an option when confronted by the bully Junior Troopa. And yes, I'm calling him a bully because that's actually what he's referred to by Goomba. Couldn't tell that from the dialogue though. This is a fight before Mario has even one partner available to him, so an exception has to be made so that he can actually continue, but whether or not you want to call the run here is obviously a no, as you see the video length being longer than just 2 minutes. Once Mario has friends though, the only option he can select is do nothing. He can't voluntarily use items, jump, hammer, not even switch partners out. All he can do is equip badges and survive. Junior Troopa soon then falls, and then we rise anew with our new friend Government. He can headbang for 1 damage, and since we can't fight with Mario, Power Jump is offline. This makes the fight with Red and Blue Goomba rather problematic, as we aren't able to survive taking 2 damage per turn, while to KO the weaker of the two takes 6 hits from Goombario. By the time Blue Goomba gets reduced to 1 HP, Mario would have been KO'd by now, so grinding is pretty necessary here. I'm able to win at level 2 after leveling up my HP, and it really does go far making this fight winnable. But it takes reaching level 3 to do the job right, so I just equipped Close Call and left it up to luck because heck, nobody's got time for that. Close Call is a badge that when your HP falls to 5 or lower, Mario has a 30% chance of avoiding any incoming attacks. Technically it's a 30 in 101 chance, but this game is just weird like that. We got exceptionally lucky, and it resulted in us narrowly surviving and gaining the right to challenge the Goomba King, or as I like to call him, Goomboss. It's really easy actually. He has his underlings behind him, but Goombario can target the Goomba tree, which picks off Red and Blue Goomba, and does a decent chunk of damage out of the Goomba King's max 10 HP. You really can't lose if you just have Goombario repeatedly use Headbang, so this fight is basically already over. Not too much later, we scale Shooting Star Summit, which is a very stellar name right away. Delivery Boy Twink has us dancing with the stars, and snag ourselves a lucky star, enabling our usage of action commands. Now Goombario can do a whole 2 damage, and Mario can actually guard. Now why was this locked behind being the prologue, making the beginning of this game super tedious? I guess Bowser wished for that too. Well, how about this? If this video does well, I'll do a no action commands run through the same game. How about that? Since Mario isn't fighting, Dizzy Attack is fairly useful, being a badge that can net his partner's extra turns. Battles will already be considerably slower as our damage output is effectively cut in half, if not worse, and we will need more FP before reaching the boss of this chapter, the Koopa Bros. For now, we recruit Corporate, who has the attractive area of effect attack, Power Shell. Now we can sweep all enemies that are on the ground and make fights much faster. Only having 5 FP though makes the fuzzy fight pretty slow. But all that matters now is that Cooper can hit more enemies at once, and that will be an immense help in making our grind of 15 FP more bearable. We do reach a high enough level for the boss while in Koopa Bros Fortress, but I actually want more BP, as there's an FP plus we can pick up after we rescue Bowler. She is our slugger. Definitely the hardest hitting partner we have for the time being, and she's the only possible means of beating the Koopa Bros available to us. I'll explain why soon, but first we have to reach them. Now, I thought my timing was pretty good with Dizzy attacking the bullet bills, but I guess not, so yeah, we're goners. If you have ample FP, Cooper can actually do pretty well here and get you some extra star points either with the straight bullet bills or to fight with the bill blasters. And all around, you shouldn't have any issues surviving this fight. Power Shell should be all you need. Now there's Trojan Bowser and the Koopa Bros. For this fight, you want to have at least 15 FP and a good grasp on how to guard. Otherwise, I seriously doubt you'll survive because you have to be patient. Though if you have HP plus equipped from where you recruited Cooper, you should be fine. Bombat just needs to repeatedly body slam the Trojan Bowser. Focus on having Mario guard as many times as you can and you should be fine. Once the Koopa Bros are revealed, this is where Bombat shines. Her bomb attack will immediately tumble the Koopa Bros sack like a Jenga tower, and they're all flipped over. Bomb also does 5 damage, which is just enough to one KO each individual Koopa Bro. Once you've executed your 5th bomb though, you won't have enough time to KO the next Koopa Bro with Bombette, so on her turn, switch to Goombario. They'll get back up, but then you can suppress either Black or Red with your Headbang, and the battle from here is basically over. Once you KO 3 of the 4, there is no longer any risk of them stacking back up, and you're free to beat the last Koopa Bro and end the fight. The first fight is pretty complex for this run, but it's all the same very possible. Our first Star Spirit, L-Star, has been rescued. Junior Trooper also challenges us on the pleasant path, but he's a pushover thanks to having Bombet's bomb. By the time we run out of FP, he's knocked out. As for optional bosses, there aren't really many to try for the time being. Blooper is way too strong for us, and I seriously doubt we'll get very far into Dojo, aside from of course Champ, who cares about him. So let's for now heed Twink's advice and head for Mount Rugged. Here on Mount Rugged, we find one of the best badges in the game, Damage Dodge. When Mario was attacked, guards reduced damage taken by 1 extra point. It honestly speaks for itself how good this badge is, especially when no attacks in this game ignore defense, so we'll get lots of usage out of it. Soon we recruit Paracarius, who for the time being is our best partner for being able to strike hard against single targets, but is really unimpressive once we reach chapter 5 as he is entirely outclassed by Sushi. I mean, unless you want to consider Irla the selling point. As for me though, I don't. Buzzer is also here and she wants to bust me up. Well, she did. Once. Her Gale Winds can damage both Mario and his active partner, which loses you time to attack. I don't want to say it's impossible to guard, but it wouldn't be easy and I definitely can't pull it off. You can help minimize the time you're unable to move through mashing fast, but you'll still be vulnerable to Bowser's attacks while waiting for your partners to recover. Try to mash fast enough for her sky drop that you don't have to guard the return trip down. Never understood how covering your head protects your feet, much less in a game that lacks fall damage, but Mario managed to find a way. So to be able to win, I just had to rank a Paracarry in the nearby desert using a super block hidden in the Oasis. The slight boost of power for both of his attacks makes the fight possible, and we're good to continue through Dry Desert, discover the ruins, and challenge Tootin Koopa. Is it Tootin Koopa or Tutin Koopa? Sounds like Tootin Putin. To this day, I question why this boss was made so weak. Just ignore the chain chomp. As long as you guard the magic spell he uses turn 3 with Paracarry, you should be fine. Guarding well in general would also help considerably. After 5 shell shots, you win. Nothing to it but to do it. This sees us rescue Maymar, and since we now have Paracarry, let's try our hand at Blooper again. First, I go to buy Zap Tap from Merlo for 10 star pieces I found while roaming about. This gives Mario permanent electrified status, so enemies take damage from direct contact with him. Now let's challenge Blooper. With only 30 HP, it goes down about as quickly as Tootin Koopa does. Though since there's no chump to summon or even to attack my partner, it's strictly easier. Easy stuff. Forever Forest and the Boo Mansion both really don't have much special to talk about, but we do gain the super boost allowing us to ground pound. We of course can't use our increased attack power in battle, but we can get a very important badge later on next time we're in Toad Town. Garlic is also recruited, who is a great partner in most challenges, but is only above average in this run. Out of Sight will still be useful to dodge particularly dangerous attacks, but Bo is really only going to be good for dealing high damage against enemies with 0 defense. Shoutouts to my friend Bowie, by the way. Most importantly, however, we can now buy live Shrooms for 50 coins each in the mansion basement. These will be mainly all I ever carry aside from maybe some FP restoring items. Not really much of a reason to hold on to anything else anyway when I can't manually use items in battle. So here's a question. How many live streams do you think I'm going to use in this entire run? I personally wager it may be around 20, but only time will tell, so let's keep watching the video. Since we have our live streams though, I want to take out Junior Trooper for the 3rd time as we meet him in Forever Forest. Paracarry spams Shell Shot, Zap Tap allows us to deal a little bit of extra chip damage, and well, Junior Trooper has 5 attack. That's a lot. We actually used 2 of our live streams up because we ran out of FP using Shell Shot, and we're just left skydiving to finish Junior Trooper off. Just to have him faint to Zap Tap recoil. Kudos Hyper Gamer, you called it. Then we had to fight Tubba Blubba's heart, which wasn't hard, but only because we have access to live streams now. Otherwise, I don't even want to think about how much grinding I'd have to do, or even if it'd be enough. Simply take Mario out of sight when the heart charges, and attack when he isn't charged. It sounds simple because it is, and Close Call does buy us some precious time if we are low on HP. At that point, using out of sight really isn't worth it because I lose my next turn to attack for having to bring Mario back into vision. Once we do at least 45 damage, which takes roughly 9 turns of attacking, maybe 8 thanks to Zap Tap, he'll flee. And that's 1 more live stream down for the count. Tubba Blubba goes down to 2 smacks, and we now have rescued Scholar, the 3rd Star Spirit. I can't use items, so I went and chose to give my partner some battles to toughen them up. They're not particularly difficult, but the extra star points were nice. The badge Quick Change is also available here, which is a godsend and a half. When without it, you'd have to dedicate a whole turn just to swap partners if necessary. It will become super important later when we have to be able to swap between high damage and protecting Mario on a dime, and we can't afford to take too long to do both. Near the end of Chapter 4 is probably the most annoying boss to beat by virtue of the guard for the Flash being really tricky to nail and his big lantern ghost. If you're too early, you either miss the guard entirely or guard with Mario, leaving your partner injured. Inversely, you guard too late and you just take the full hit. There's a certain sweet spot you have to get down where only Bo guards. She's also the only viable partner for this fight, as we must illuminate the room by smacking the lantern that Watt is being held captive in. Goombario can also attempt this fight, but you'd be doing less damage than Bo whether super ranked or not. A couple of life streams were exhausted, but if you were able to guard more consistently than me, this very well could be done with Zero. And now we have rescued Smoke, but we call her Lil Smoke. Her only attack ignores defense and is capable of paralyzing enemies and bosses alike for a few turns, but that's really it. She's not bad, but not very many bosses have the defense to justify using her in battle. But the very next boss is at least one where she's great for. General Guy and his army are up next. One of my favorite things to do in this fight is equip Defend plus to Mario and not stress over the Shy Squad trying to beat Mario up. I feel like Paracurry's airlift would still be good against the Stoke guys, but I only am now thinking about it while I was scripting this video. But hey, if y'all feel like confirming it for me, say so in the comment section down below. Probably could have saved Mario 2 HP. Shy Stack does a lot of damage, mostly because this guard feels really hecking awkward. I can't figure it out. At least Paracurry does a good job at smashing through and knocking them all off. But did we reach General Guy himself and his tank? So Paracurry is no longer very useful. Let's bring in Watt. She can't be hurt by General Guy's light bulb and ignores defense. So 8 strikes of her Electro Dash and we win. I ended up using more life streams than I'd have liked, but I guess 3 isn't awful. Oh, who am I kidding? In the intermission for Chapter 4, there's a badge for Last Stand. Get it. It's the best badge in the game. Fuzzipede is up next and they're no trouble. 5 Electro Dashes and boom, we win and can sail to Mount Lava Lava. In Chapter 5, we save a fish from a tree. The realism is astonishing. I mean, have you seen the freaking seagull? Tsuchiya is now joining us, and Paracurry is now outclassed. She can do everything Paracurry can do, but better. The only way the two differ is that Paracurry has Airlift, which is already worse than both Bo's Spook, and later on Lekalester's Hurricane, while Tsuchiya has Water Block. A move that increases Mario's defense. So yeah, Paracurry's wings have all but burned up. Same with Junior Truba with our first encounter with him, because he doesn't think to fly over the ocean to reach us, at least according to him. I think you'd be exhausted much more for flying over a long distance, but okay, I guess. Either way, his HP is cut by half, and gaining a spike doesn't really affect us thanks to Watt being able to just strike him down from front. 4 Electro Dashes combined with 4 Zap Taps send them back to the drawing board. Electro Blooper is another boss we can challenge, and yeah, this fight really is not hard. Use anyone's basic attack when they're not charged. I like to use Paracurry's Shell Shot when they do get an electric charge though, and just rinse and repeat. This battle is an absolute cakewalk. Also, yes, the layout is different. I forgot to swap back to the old one, so yeah, aren't I professional? Anyway, Lava Piranha, and here's my wonderful, blunderful moment of the run. Getting way too comfortable with my FP being used way too early. Try using Sushi's Tidal Whip and knock out the Lava Buds first, and it ends up biting me in the butt later. First phase, the buds stay down when they run out of HP and you're left with a single entity that you can beat down until it wilts. But then phase 2 begins, and it's here that the fight becomes problematic, as now the boss is on fire. This is good because Sushi Squirt now does more damage and stuns the boss for a turn. However, this also makes the boss dangerous to touch when it's on fire, and combined with the Lava Bud spitting out Petite Piranhas to kamikaze into you, you can take a lot of damage, and if you're like me, become dependent on Happy Flower saving you while you're helplessly exhausting life streams you could have saved if you had just a little more foresight. Yeah, I'm embarrassed. At least we rescued Mistar, and she rescued us out of the volcano. Shortly after, Kenshi Koopa is blocking traffic on Pleasant Path. Let's teach him a lesson. Watching a lot of gameplay mods for this game, his power shell feels deceptively slow in vanilla. And that's not good because your partner goes down for 3 whole turns if you miss the guard, and Kenshi Koopa hurts a lot. He's vulnerable to sleep, but Mario can't do anything, so we just have to take the damage. Have Watt just repeatedly attack him, and our reserve of life shrooms will take care of everything else as long as I don't miss too many guards. And boy do they. I lost a whopping 8 life shrooms to Can't See Koopa, and yes, I am absolutely terrible at this game. My guess is also probably as good as dead.
But how wrong really was my guess? And what about the invincible Bowser?
Well, there's only one way to find out. Click and watch the video on the screen right now, it'll take you to part 2. Or you can enjoy some other challenge videos I've got, like my T2ID series of partners only videos. No matter your choice, I hope to see you later wherever you end up.